latest up-to-date coverage near you.
Closed captioning for this newscast brought to you by Hearing Associates of South Carolina.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, first at 4.
Police have released a portion of body cam footage showing the fatal shooting of a black teenage girl. We'll tell you what led up to the incident and where the investigation stands. But first, right now, there is a memorial service going on for Dante Wright in Minneapolis. He was shot and killed last week by an officer during a traffic stop. The officer said she meant to grab a taser, but grabbed her gun instead. A few miles away, a federal investigation has been launched into policing practices in Minneapolis. That announcement came less than 24 hours after a jury found Derek Chauvin guilty of murdering George Floyd. Michael George is in Minneapolis with what it's like right there.
A young girl was among those who brought flowers Wednesday to the memorial at the spot where George Floyd died, as the jury's guilty verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial sinks in.
We were all crying. We were all in tears.
Mario Suttles lives in the neighborhood where Dante Wright was killed by police just last week. He wants his 4-year-old Farah to see change happen in America.
What we're most focused on is how can we reform the police and how can we make it safer for our children and for everybody's children.
Floyd's brother says he started praying once he heard there was a verdict.
The moment I heard guilty, guilty, and guilty, I was excited, I was happy.
The Minnesota Department of Corrections released a booking photo of Chauvin, taken shortly after the jury convicted the former Minneapolis police officer on all 3 charges.
Unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced an investigation into policing practices in Minneapolis.
It will include a comprehensive review of the Minneapolis Police Department's policies, training, supervision, and use of force investigations.
Here in Minneapolis, people are all too aware that Chauvin's guilty verdict is only the beginning. They believe without police reform, what happened to George Floyd could happen again.
Yes, we do welcome this verdict, but we know that the fight is not over.
Chauvin is being held in a restrictive housing unit separated from the general population at the maximum security prison. He's scheduled to be sentenced in about 8 weeks. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
The 3 other officers who are accused of aiding and abetting George Floyd's murder are set to go to trial in August. The Minnesota Department of Correction released this new mugshot of Chauvin from that maximum security cell you just heard about. The 3 other officers who are accused of aiding and abetting George Floyd's murder are set to go to trial in August. George Floyd's death just sparked protests here and around the country. We spoke with community activists who say this is a step in the right direction, but still more has to be done to bring change. Nick Proto's live near Washington Road, where just people protested. Nick, what do activists hope comes from all of this?
Well, earlier today, I spoke with Q McQueen. He's been one of the lead voices for the Black Lives Matter movement here in Augusta. He tells me last night they didn't get justice, they got accountability, which is what they've wanted all along. He says that's why they had protests like the one we're showing you here on Washington Road last year in Augusta. And he says watching the news last night, he was nervous right up until the judge read the guilty verdict for Derek Chauvin. After hearing the news, McQueen says he felt mixed emotions, happiness, relief, anger, hope, all coming into play. A hope that this ruling can start to rebuild the relationship between law enforcement and the community.
It's a small step in the right direction, and I'm hoping the law enforcement take the momentum and really get into the community, because I think that's what's really going to change. They have to break down that barrier, break down that stigma, and it comes from being there, being in the community.
And they're not the only ones that want to break down that barrier. Coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we hear from a local police department about their ongoing efforts to stay involved in the community. Zaina?
Thanks for that live update there, Nick. Well, body camera footage released by Columbus Police shows the moment an officer opened fire on a teenage girl yesterday, killing her. Interim Chief of Police Michael Woods says the video shows the officer acted to save the life of another young girl. The video shows the officer arriving at the scene as a fight breaks out. Woods said a female with a knife attempts to stab one person who's on the ground, followed by a second who is pushed up against a vehicle. That's when the female goes to the second person against the car that the officer fires his weapon 4 times. The officer then provides medical aid to the girl who was shot. The mayor there calling this a tragic incident.
It's a tragic day in the city of Columbus. Horrible, heartbreaking situation. Not just the mayor, the father. The city of Columbus lost a 15-year-old girl today.
Officials did not identify the victim, but family said her name was Makia Bryant. Woods did not release the name of the officer, but said he is off the streets. Well, heads up if you live in Grovetown, a boil water advisory is currently in effect for residents who live in the Palmier Place subdivision. This is due to construction on a water system improvements there. If you have experienced water outages and or low water pressures, you should only use boiled tap water or bottled water for the time being. We're going to keep you updated on when this ends. Well, to weather now as we take a look over Wheeler Road. Riley, there's some pretty blue skies out there, but let me tell you, it's windy.
It definitely is very windy for us. You can see it shaking our camera right there off Wheeler Road. We do have red flag warnings in effect through this evening until around 8 p.m. later tonight. We're seeing sustained winds between 15 to 20 miles an hour, even a little bit more than that currently in Aiken. And gusts have been up into the mid-30s so far this afternoon. So a very gusty day for us and very dry air in place as well. So it is dangerous to do any burning. Don't do any of that for the rest of today. And actually, tomorrow's not looking much better either. But highlighted in pink is those red flag warnings. Those go all the way down the Savannah River. We also have wind advisories across our western counties. And then something new to add to the mix this afternoon. We actually do have a frost advisory in effect tonight for some of our northern counties. So it is going to be getting cold out there as we head into tonight and early tomorrow morning. Now, if you are heading out this evening, we're going to stay breezy through around 7, 8 o'clock. And then those winds do start to calm down as we head into tonight. But temperature-wise, it is going to be getting cold for us. Those frost advisories are in effect just north of Augusta. We'll have a look at that in your weekend forecast, in your first look forecast.
President Biden says the country will meet his goal of 200 million COVID vaccine shots within his first 100 days in office. The president had doubled his original goal of 100 million shots after hitting it early on day 58 of his administration. He made the announcement today, also calling for businesses to offer paid leave to workers to get the shot and recover from any side effects from the vaccination.
No working American should lose a single dollar from their paycheck because they chose to fulfill their patriotic duty.
The president said a paid leave tax credit from the American Rescue Plan will offset the cost for businesses with fewer than 500 employees. After a 5-hour bond hearing, a federal judge did not determine a bond for a South Carolina man arrested for his role in the deadly riots. Documents show 26-year-old Nicholas Langeran faces several charges, including assaulting, resisting, or impeding an officer, using a dangerous weapon, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. During the bond hearing, 2 people spoke on his behalf, his grandmother and his employer. The judge said he's going to take everything said into account and release a decision on the bond at a later date. Police reform brought up this morning on the Senate floor. The Senate Majority Leader says the conviction of Derek Chauvin doesn't mean the nation can move on from addressing police misconduct. That means pushing for changes, including reform practices and training.
We should not mistake a guilty verdict in this case as evidence that the persistent problem of police misconduct has been solved, or that the divide between law enforcement and so many of the communities they serve has been bridged. It has not.
House Democrats last month pushed through a police reform named after George Floyd. One of its measures would ban chokeholds nationwide. Senate Democrats would have to convince 10 Republicans to support the bill for it to become law. Well, beware of scammers. You may have received a text message supposedly from a USPS with a link asking you to confirm details about a delivery or package, but experts say don't take the bait. Officials say you need to be skeptical of anything you receive asking for personal information like your bank account or social security number.
If you see USPS, you believe that that is a government-run entity and that is your information is safe with them. But it's not, and it's not coming out by USPS. Forever, if they wanted to get in touch with you, they would send you a certified letter.
Officials do advise that you triple check whoever is reaching out to you is reputable and that you not only click on it in the first place, just don't do it. Just a reminder, in South Carolina, the deadline to get a real ID is October 1st. However, the DMV wants people to get it sooner rather than later. A real ID will be needed to board a domestic flight, commercial flight, enter a secure federal building, or to visit a military installation. A gold star on the license indicates it's a real ID, and only about 38% of the South Carolina population has a real ID currently. This afternoon, researchers from Augusta University and community leaders met at Good Shepherd Baptist Church to talk about how to better represent minority voices in research. The forum focused on the importance of African American and Latinx voices in the research process. Directors of Community Relations and the Institutional Review Board led this meeting. This is the first time an event like this has been held by these groups. Ivy Tillman stressed just how important this event was.
In this initiative, we're serving as a liaison between the community and the researchers, and so we want our community to inform our research.
One of the topics discussed, the need for minority input when it comes to medical research. Tillman says this is only the first of many more meetings to come. Coming up, an ordinary grocery run turned into something more when a woman found an unexpected guest on the shelf. We're going to tell you where this happened after the break.
Now, we have a very breezy Wednesday, and we are going to see those winds calm down as we head into tonight, but frost advisories in effect tomorrow morning, and then a first alert for some storms on Saturday. Much more to talk about next.
For 10 years, the company blamed for deplorable housing at Fort Gordon has refused an I-team interview. Until now.
How are your soldiers living? If you can't answer that question, you've taken your eye off the ball, right?
Thursday on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
At Hearing Associates, we are here with you, whether in our office or at your home. We provide a comprehensive hearing health plan tailored specifically to your needs. We offer state-of-the-art technologies and can assist in connecting your device to a smartphone, television, or any other application to improve your quality of life. Hearing Associates, here with you.
Garage spring event.
Check this out. A Target shopper didn't have this on her list. She was just browsing the aisles and was caught off guard when a snake slithered across some canned goods. Can you imagine that? As Gene Moose reports, the grandmother is now having a good laugh over her close encounter with the reptile.
Attention shoppers, that's no mere spill in the grocery aisle at Target. That's a snake.
And there is a snake on top of the baked beans here.
Now you'd expect to see snake jewelry at Target, or a snakeskin bag, or Drano Snake Plus to unclog your drains. But when Diane Dupre first saw an actual snake at this Apex, North Carolina Target,
I thought it was a child's toy. So I thought, oh my goodness, somebody's pranking me. Where's the camera?
But she ended up whipping out her own camera, finally realizing it was real.
Ah! The tongue came out. And that's how I knew.
Diane couldn't stop chuckling about her own reaction to the snake that targeted Target.
Can't even look at this. Hurry. I'm telling the men to hurry.
Okay, so it wasn't a venomous snake or a man-swallowing python. It was a harmless rat snake that employees removed and released back to nature. Target says it sanitized the area and brought in a pest control company to do a full evaluation of the store. According to an animal expert at North Carolina University,
these snakes are out of hibernation. They're moving around. They're looking for food. They might be looking for mates.
Well, don't look at Diane's snake. She already has a mate.
This is just crazy. Can you imagine just a normal grocery run and you get an unexpected surprise on top of the baked beans? Well, good thing she didn't touch it. Like she said, she thought it initially was fake, so at least she stared at it for a while and saw the tongue come out. But crazy story right there. We'll take a look at this. April on the calendar, but January in the air. Snow, a hard freeze, and record cold for this time of year are all in the forecast for parts of Indiana. Reports from around the area were up to 3 inches. Snow covering the ground and wet streets. And check out this video also. This is from Kansas. Tuesday snow hit the city of Holton, which is about 25 miles north of Topeka. The rare April snow broke local records more than 100 years old. But that's just crazy right now to think about snow in April. Something we're certainly not seeing here, Riley.
Yeah, no snow in our forecast, but we are going to be seeing some chilly temperatures. That system that brought them the snow, we're going to see that cooler air move in for us into tonight. So we're going to see the windy conditions the rest of this evening and then frost advisories by tomorrow morning. Most of us are seeing sustained winds over 15 miles an hour. Some gusts are getting over 35 miles an hour in some places. So a very gusty day. So it's no surprise we do have red flag warnings staying in effect until we get to 8 p.m. later this evening for us. Now, there are multiple threats on the board currently through this evening. We have wind advisory in effect for our western counties through 10 p.m. this evening. Our lake wind advisories for up at Clarks Hill, that's going to stay in effect until tomorrow morning, actually, until 5 a.m. And then this is what we're adding to the mix out there this afternoon for our frost advisories. Those were issued earlier today for that threat of potentially seeing some frost by early Thursday morning. Now, here's a look at our current temperatures. We're up to 77 at Bushfield. We did briefly hit 80 right around midday, so these temperatures are actually starting to cool off a little bit. You can see in many of our northern counties staying close to 70 this afternoon. Now, here's a look at the frost advisory. This is for counties north of Augusta, so places like Edgefield, McCormick, Lincolnton, Saluda. You are included in this frost advisory where your low temperatures could get as low as 33 degrees, so that is definitely enough to produce some frost out there. For us here in Augusta, we'll most likely bottom out into the upper 30s, and I would say upper 30s looks like a good bet for many areas south of Augusta as well. So definitely below average for this time of year as far as low temperatures go, and even high temperatures for our Thursday will be below average for us. We are expecting highs tomorrow in Augusta to most likely stay in the 60s, upper 60s at that, so not quite as warm a day out there tomorrow. And then the low temperatures are going to stay pretty chilly again Friday morning, waking up in the upper 30s then, and then into the weekend is when we do start to notice some changes. So clear skies the next couple of days as high pressure built in here. We'll start to notice more clouds heading later into Friday night. And then this is for our Saturday. We are expecting widespread rain Saturday and potentially even some stronger thunderstorms. The Storm Prediction Center currently does have our region underneath a 15% risk for severe weather on Saturday. So the fact that they put this out 4 days in advance, this will likely change over the next couple of days, but there is trending in the direction that we could see some severe weather for the first part of the weekend. So there is a first alert in effect for that, just the threat of some heavy rain and some storms moving through Saturday. Looking good to go by Sunday, and those high temperatures finally getting above average again by early next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley. Well, it's the Queen's 95th birthday today, and just like last year, a lot of things are looking different because of the pandemic. The traditional birthday gun salute was also missing again this year. That's because the Queen thought it would be inappropriate during the pandemic, and now she's also mourning the loss of her husband, so certainly a different birthday this year for the Queen. Well, check this out. It's almost Earth Day, and if you want to help out the environment and save a lot of money doing it, there is a way. We'll explain next.
I'm Mike Costello. Through Saturday, 10 to 6.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
Well, Earth Day is tomorrow, and you may be trying to think of ways to help save the planet. There's at least one thing you may not have considered. It's your computer. About 80% of computers wind up in landfills. Jamie Tucker shows us how that can be reversed and save you a lot of money.
Every year, Americans throw away 255,000 tons of computers that wind up in landfills, along with billions of dangerous toxic elements that are inside those computers. And the problem is getting worse, because computers are getting more inexpensive. Because why pay someone $200 to repair a computer when you can buy a brand new one for $300? To keep laptops and computers out of landfills, it's best to either recycle old ones or keep them running. Computer repair experts tell me the lifespan of a computer should be 6 to 8 years now. Typically, computers that die sooner are because of viruses and spyware, which could be avoided by installing malware protection, such as Malwarebytes, and another piece of software, CCleaner, that scans and cleans out the registry. And the computer age-old question, should you turn it off or leave it on when you go to bed every night? This will protect your computer too. Restarting the computer at least once a week allows for security patches and other updates to be installed. But computers shouldn't be turned off every night. Each time it starts up, tiny parts inside start spinning, and most problems occur at startup. If your computer does die, or if you have one lying around the house, don't toss it in the trash. Best Buy and a few other retailers will recycle them for you at no charge. Just drop them off at the store. There may be an e-waste recycling center nearby, so it's worth a quick Google search. Maybe the best thing you can do to help the environment and to save money. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Electronic waste has become a global problem. Only 20% of desktop and laptop computers are sent off to be recycled. Most are just thrown out with the trash, but certainly a way to take advantage of Earth Day tomorrow if you have extra computers. Riley?
It is looking like we're going to see a sunny Earth Day tomorrow. Temperatures just a little bit below average. If you need to wash the car, dry weather through Friday. Then look at that 7-day forecast next.
On Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
All right, for the next couple of mornings, we are expecting the potential to see some frost, mainly for counties north of Augusta. But we do have frost advisories in effect for places like Lincoln, McCormick, Saluda, Edgefield County tomorrow morning. Those low temperatures will be down to the 30s for pretty much all of us by tomorrow morning around sunrise. We'll most likely see those temperatures again early Friday morning, and then a first alert in effect for your Saturday. We are anticipating heavy rain, and there is a severe weather threat as well as of right now. So for your Saturday, we are expecting higher rain chances, but we should be cleared out by Sunday. With that storm threat Saturday, though, it does look like multiple types of severe weather will be possible, so that's what we're going to be monitoring very closely over the next couple of days. So first alert in effect for that for your Saturday. Next couple of days look very nice, though. Mostly sunny skies and rain-free conditions at least through Friday. And Sunday does look nice. We'll see that rain clear out by Saturday night. Sunday mostly sunny, and then heading into next week, we finally start to warm up a little bit, seeing those highs back in the 80s.
Still ahead, Richmond County District leaders approving the district's rezoning plan. We'll hear from parents on how they feel about this as students get ready to move from certain schools.